Meghan Markle has burst into tears in a fake new podcast appearance.
Now, a staggering 2/3 of Brits are calling for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their HRH titles.
Following the legal ruling, Prince Harry ran to the media, shock, and participated in a sit-down interview with the BBC, claiming he does not see a world where he could bring Meghan and the kids back to the UK.
I think it's going to happen. I think what's going to happen because the threat of William taking the titles away. Yeah. But I think once the titles get stripped, I think Harry's done.
Meghan Markle has finally stirred the pot. She made a podcast appearance that has ignited a firestorm regarding her royal status.
I have a letter from your husband and your kids. No one's ever seen this before.
So bad.
What is she
This is
doing?
really emotional. I have full body chills right now.
For them to be able to look
Telling
at
her how great she is.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
their whole
She
existence.
loved us so much. Very selfish of you.
Really.
Whoa, okay.
The internet is buzzing with criticism over what many are calling one of the cringiest podcast moments in recent memory, and discussions about stripping her royal title are gaining momentum. Meanwhile, Meghan has been seen in tears, but are those tears genuine or just another performance?
Except she didn't put eye makeup on. And she also is pretending that she's crying. And we did a zero in, like we zoomed in just to see. There isn't a tear in sight. Dan, look at this. I invite the viewers to take a close-up look at this. Where's the tear? There's nothing there. Look, it's an actor's trick. She just keeps wiping and wiping and wiping, so we think she has a heart.
The controversy began on April 28th when Meghan appeared as a guest on the Jamie Kern Lima show, marking her first podcast appearance as a guest rather than a host. From the outset, the tone felt off, too polished and perfectly staged. She spoke about vulnerability, struggle, and empowerment.
The state of their marriages and whether they're happy or they're unhappy. I mean, he doesn't look particularly happy, but then I don't think he has done for some time. The reason I say that is because I think that he's in a sort of alien world. He was trained as a member of the royal family to be dutiful and do his bit, and he was very good at it.
Using the usual PR buzzwords, but her delivery came across as robotic and rehearsed. Then came the pivotal moment. Meghan appeared to cry, her voice cracking and eyes squinting, but not a single tear fell. Critics quickly jumped in, with Megyn Kelly dissecting the moment on her platform, labeling it a dry cry.
Stop making fun of her for it. Now, my personal favorite moments from that interview were where she was talking about her relationship with Harry, and they call each other H and M, and it's all like this cute thing, and she was like, H. That man, he just loves me so much. She gave this entire tirade about how much Harry loves her and how amazing their family is. She did not make one comment about how much she loves her husband or what she does for him or what she contributes to their family. It was just like, he is so obsessed with me. It is so amazing. It was very, very odd, and everybody caught on to that. She also talks about parenting their 2 children and basically insinuates that she is the first woman to ever have to balance having a career and making it to school drop off. It's like this whole dramatic thing. It's like, I'm sorry, you're not going to Mars. You're dropping your kids off to daycare and first grade. It's really not that big of a deal. And then, of course, the real crux of the interview was about her new brand, As Ever, which is driven by her love of hosting and hospitality, which also took up a big portion of the interview. And in that conversation, now we're getting to my favorite part of this entire story, in that conversation about As Ever, she showed a basket that she had sent to the host of the podcast as a thank you for allowing her to come on, which sparked a whole other media firestorm. Now, I want you to look at this. She sent a little basket, and here you can kind of zoom in here, and it says, with the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex.
Social media reactions were mixed. Some fans defended Meghan, claiming she was simply emotional and misunderstood, while others were less forgiving. One viral tweet garnered thousands of likes, stating, "She's acting like it's a Disney audition, not a podcast." This was just the beginning of the backlash.
However, he does maintain that he would like to meet his grandchildren. Speaking of King Charles, Thomas Markle says, I'm a grandfather, and he is King of England, but he too is a grandfather who would like to see his grandkids.
Shortly after, Meghan was spotted at a Beyoncé concert with Prince Harry. While she danced and posed, Harry appeared miserable, out of place, and uncomfortable. Meanwhile, her latest podcast, Confessions of a Female Founder, faced criticism for being completely out of touch, as she discussed school drop-offs as if they were monumental challenges. Adding fuel to the fire, she sent a gift basket to the podcast host, signed, Her Royal Highness the Duchess of Sussex.
Prince Harry lost his fight for government-funded security when he is in the UK. Following the legal ruling, Prince Harry ran to the media, shock, and participated in a sit-down interview with the BBC, claiming he does not see a world where he could bring Meghan and the kids back to the UK.
Let's pause there. Meghan and Harry were stripped of the HRH title when they stepped back from royal duties and were instructed not to use it for commercial purposes. Yet here we are, with British media in a frenzy, accusing Meghan of violating royal agreements and clinging to a title she no longer holds.
I can't see a world in which I would be bringing my wife and children back to the UK at this point. And the things that they're going to miss is, well, everything. You know, I love my country. I always have done, despite what some people in that country have done. So, you know, I miss the UK. I miss parts of the UK. Of course I do. And I think that it's really quite sad that I won't be able to show, you know, my children my homeland.
Just as this backlash intensified, her father, Thomas Markle, publicly begged her to reconcile and let him meet his grandchildren. Meghan's silence on the matter has been deafening. Public sentiment is shifting. Polls indicate that 2/3 of Brits now support completely revoking Harry and Meghan's royal titles. What began as another awkward PR moment may now be the final straw for the royal family, but the drama doesn't end there.
Every time he has come, King Charles has offered him a lodging at, wait for it, Buckingham Palace. And guess what, Meghan? Buckingham Palace is empty at the moment, right? Charles is at Clarence House, William is in Windsor, so he could have the run of Buckingham Palace. And if he was at Buckingham Palace, he would receive full security. Guess what? Harry said no.
Prince Harry recently made headlines during a live TV interview, comparing his situation to that of Princess Diana and suggesting that the royals might not even want him alive. Just when Meghan's cringeworthy podcast seemed to be the main story, Harry dropped a bombshell in a BBC interview that left royal insiders stunned.
Also putting the blame on the strain of the relationship on the king.
He says, my father won't speak to me, which, I mean, is talk about getting it slightly wrong. The reason the king doesn't speak to Harry, it's not because he won't speak to him, is he can't speak to him because Harry is suing the king's ministers in the king's courts, and the king is what they call the fountain of justice. He's the head of the judiciary. If Harry had a conversation with him about his case, about his security, and now we know that Harry does have a tendency to immediately repeat conversations, whether in TV interviews or in books or in documentaries. That would completely undermine the case. I mean, it's what's called legal jeopardy.
Fresh off losing his legal battle for taxpayer-funded security while visiting the UK, Harry went public, expressing that he couldn't envision a future where his family returns to the UK due to safety concerns. He even hinted that the royal family might not want him alive, referencing Princess Diana's tragic death and drawing parallels to his own situation, suggesting that history might repeat itself.
I think what's going to happen, because the threat of William taking the titles away, and he rightfully so, he should. If somebody attacked my wife like that while she was ill, that's something you can never forgive. Somebody talks so much trash about, burns every single bridge, and then begs for forgiveness because their popularity sucks and they're in the gutter. And then you try and go crawling back, you know, and you want to go back and you make this big story up. It's such garbage. But I think once the titles get stripped, you know, I think Harry's done.
This revelation sent the palace into damage control mode once again. Harry expressed his deep longing for the UK and his desire for his children to experience the country he grew up in. However, he also insisted that he deserves the same level of security as a former prime minister, a rather lofty expectation for someone who voluntarily stepped away from royal duties.
That interview where he attacked the royal family, where he claimed there was an establishment stitch-up, and when the delusional freak even suggested that people actually want him dead, has been a step too far.
The royal family's stance is clear. If you walk away from the job, you also walk away from the perks. Reports indicate that King Charles even offered Harry lodging at Buckingham Palace with full protection, but Harry declined, seemingly wanting the benefits on his own terms. Critics have been vocal, arguing that Harry cannot have it both ways. You can't leave the monarchy, launch a Netflix series criticizing your family, and then expect royal treatment during visits.
No no time in letting their feelings be known. Well, that's a rather giant FU, isn't it? They remarked to me, she reported. Featuring an idyllic image of Prince Harry walking through the gardens of their Montecito home, daughter Lilibet on his shoulders and son Archie's hand in his, its timing was far from accidental. That's the one thing the Duchess of Sussex does not have in common with the royal family, knowing the power of a well-timed image.
The situation escalated when Harry casually commented on his father's health, stating he doesn't know how long King Charles has left. This remark was widely perceived as tone-deaf and cruel. Especially given Charles's ongoing health concerns, the situation has become even messier as Harry is suing a UK government department, the Home Office, over security issues.
Yeah, a staggering 2/3 of Brits are calling for Harry and Meghan to be stripped of their HRH titles. A new poll by Find Out Now has revealed that most of the public is supporting the King in this family feud, ongoing family feud, after Harry's bombshell BBC interview. It follows the Court of Appeal's decision to not overturn the ruling on his security in the UK.
Due to this lawsuit, King Charles is legally prohibited from discussing the case with Harry, turning a family matter into a courtroom battle, with the monarch bound by neutrality. At the heart of the lawsuit is Harry's belief that the committee responsible for royal security failed to follow proper procedures when downgrading his protection, claiming they didn't adequately assess the specific threats he and Meghan face. However, the High Court ruled against him twice, finding that the decision was legal and justified. This legal defeat, combined with the public backlash from his interview, has intensified pressure on the palace to fully cut off Harry and Meghan's remaining royal perks, including their titles. Meghan's actions aren't helping her case either. With one card, one signature, and one over-the-top podcast move, she may have crossed a line. In her latest stunt, Meghan sent a custom gift basket to the podcast host, complete with a card signed with the compliments of Her Royal Highness, the Duchess of Sussex. This blatant disregard for the rules surrounding her title sent the internet into a frenzy, as many viewed it as a calculated power play to maintain royal prestige while pretending to distance herself from the monarchy. Sources close to the situation have revealed that Meghan continues to use the HRH title in private correspondence with friends, associates, and even podcast contacts. Critics argue that this is even more egregious than using it publicly, as it sends a clear message. I still consider myself royalty, regardless of what the system dictates. This behavior has only fueled the narrative that Meghan is not just enamored with the idea of being royal, but is obsessed with the appearance of royalty, which has infuriated palace insiders. Adding to the drama, her brother Thomas Markle Jr. recently gave an interview where he made a bold prediction. Meghan will leave Harry the moment Prince William officially strips their titles. This claim, coming from her own brother, carries weight and adds another layer of tension to the already fraught family dynamics. In the UK, royal tempers are flaring. Harry's explosive interview didn't just rattle nerves, it angered the palace. Senior insiders are reportedly furious over Harry's accusations of an establishment stitch-up regarding his security and his implication that the royal family might want him dead. This direct attack on the monarchy goes against their long-standing policy of never complain, never explain. For centuries, the royals have maintained silence even amid chaos, but Harry's public outbursts are shattering that tradition. Just hours after Harry's interview aired, Meghan posted a smiling photo of him and their children in their Montecito garden, a not-so-subtle message to Buckingham Palace that they are thriving without the institution. A royal insider described it as a giant FU to the monarchy, showcasing a carefree life in California while the UK was still reeling from Harry's comments. When you combine Meghan's defiant Instagram post, her HRH card incident, the podcast blunders, and the ongoing family drama, it paints a picture of a royal PR disaster. Insiders suggest that Prince William is done playing nice and is actively pushing to have their titles revoked. Recent polling indicates that 2/3 of Brits support this move, wanting Harry and Meghan stripped of their titles for good. But what would that mean for Meghan? The title is more than just a status symbol. It's integral to her brand. Without the Royal Association, her podcast deals, book opportunities, and influencer status could all be jeopardized. The royal fairy tale she has marketed could lose its allure overnight. Now, the final decision rests with King Charles and Prince William. Will they officially strip Harry and Meghan of their titles? Will they be left without a crown, a title, or even a path back to the royal family? The stakes are high and the public is watching closely. What do you think? Should their titles be revoked? Share your thoughts in the comments. We're eager to hear your take. Thank you for tuning in, and until next time.